Hello, Bill. So, this was posted by Hello the 48. Thank y'all for coming. So this was posted by crime.net. And it's the Rockefeller Foundation documents and stuff. So I figured we would look at them for a moment together. Okay. Many prayers to you as well, 48, and you also stay safe. Thank you for saying that. Okay, so this report was produced by the Rockefeller Foundation and Global Business Network in 2010. Now, there is more to the video that I put out where I show that Michelle Obama is a man. There's more to that. I haven't been able to finish it yet. I'm sorry. So I will hopefully be able to do that soon. So as you can see, this is, the table of contents, and we're looking at it. I don't know if anyone has downloaded this as a PDF file on their phone or on their computer yet. Hi, Bumblebee, and I noticed I've missed you. I haven't seen you in a while. I hope you're okay and staying safe, and I've been keeping you in my prayers. I hope everything's been okay for you. Okay. Letter from Judith Roden. The Rockefeller Foundation supports work that expands opportunity and strengthens resilience. And strengthens resilience to social. One that seen another channel. Did you? Oh, God bless you too. And thank you for the liking the Mako video. I've got a lot more to add with that. I didn't. There's actual interviews with other people that talk about how Obama went out and got them cocaine and smoked crack, but it goes into a lot of detail about other things. That's great, Bumblebee. Everyone needs to be gardening, growing their own things. A lot of people don't understand that, but that is a wonderful thing to be doing for yourself. Okay, so like I said with the Michael video, I will be putting out a little bit more on it. I haven't had much time. Honestly, I'm extremely exhausted. When it's not pouring rain and thundering, it's extremely hot. And just walking like 5 minutes down the road is extraordinary, and it's extreme, like pouring sweat and staying dehydrated. It's just been really bad here. It's either pouring rain, and then at night it gets really cold and chilly, and then during the day it's like boiling hot. So I haven't been able to do much of anything, but right now I wanted to go over this with everyone. But as far as if you're out and you're not staying hydrated and you're kind of sick or anything like that, it is hard to have energy to do anything. Yes, that's really good that you're already planning ahead. A lot of people need to start thinking and planning ahead. You only seen what? Let's see. Sorry, guys. Give me just a second here. Okay. Everyone does need to start thinking and planning ahead. That's the truth. And a lot of the stuff that we need to go through and go over, a lot of things that I put up here, like I put up how to get water from a tree, stuff like that. A lot of people didn't watch it, but those are the ones that people really need to be paying attention to, is how to survive outside without anything. And I'm not doing a good job at all with that. I mean, me and Logan are staying dehydrated. I have a bad ear infection that's down in my jaw and down in my throat. And I don't want to go to the hospital to get antibiotics or anything because I know they're going to, what they usually do, they're going to go ahead and tell me that I'm positive for the coronavirus, put me on that floor. They're going to quarantine me and everything just because I have an ear and an abscessed tooth. So I haven't even went to the measures of going to a doctor, and I don't have the money for all of that, or I wouldn't even have the money for the medication for the antibiotics. So right now this country is really bad and hurting, and people aren't seeing it for what it is. And with all of the civil unrest, this protesting is huge, and they are going, they've already got the military and the National Guard here, so we're going to be seeing how much more it is. So, like I said, I'll scroll back up to the top so everybody can see what it looks like. I know a lot of you have probably seen this before, but a lot of people don't really show you all of the documents that's in it. And a lot of people tell you just to read through them and you pick out what you think is most important. Now, that is true, very long. So, I'm.net. All you got to do is go there on their community guideline, on their community page. She has posted a picture there, and you click the link, and it starts downloading the Rockefeller documents. So if you'll get that and get it downloaded on the PDF file, you can look into this for yourself, and you'll see that this particular document came out in 2010. So, the Rockefeller Foundation supports works that expands opportunity and strengthens resilience. Let's see if I can get this a little bigger for y'all. Affirming its pioneer. Let's see. I'm trying to make sure we don't have to read everything. Results of our... let's see. Hold on. Sorry, guys. It don't leave it up long enough for me to read. Yeah, it's really humid and hot, but not. It's chilly and really cold. And it also, when it rains and pours, which it's been doing a lot of, it's really hard. And I'm in an area right now where I'm trying to make it where nobody can hear the vehicles, because vehicles and the traffic and people coming in and out of store, stuff like that, it usually interrupts me doing a video or my lives. So I'm trying my best. So hang in there with me, guys. Like I said, I will probably be doing a goodbye video soon after I get all of this wrapped up. So just hang in there with me until I say my goodbye video. But all of y'all are so special and important to me, and I'm trying to do my best to get the word of God out there and the truth that people haven't seen yet. So the results of our first scenario planning exercise demonstrates a provocative and engaging exploration of the role of technology in the future of globalization. Now, as you will see in the following pages, this report is crucial reading for anyone interested in creativity, considering the multiple divergent ways in which our world could evolve. The spark of insight. Hello, James. Evolved along with their implications, as a whole, would generate through the invaluable collaboration of guaranteed representatives. So right here, it's not, but it also has a lot to do with the Rothschilds as well. And I offer special thanks to Peter and Andrew and the entire team of Global Business Network who have helped guide us through this and process. You know how most things do this. I'm going to leave it on the screen for a minute for people to read. I are so excited about the promise of using the possibilities that lie ahead. We welcome your feedback. Okay, so this was the letter. And now we are on the 6th page. Like I said, it's 54 pages. We don't have to go through it all right now. Okay, so this is the letter from Peter. And like I said, we do not have to read it all, but I'm going to leave it on the screen if they do wish to. So that's full of opportunity. Technology is poised to transform the lives of millions of people throughout the world, especially those who have had little or no access to the tools that can deliver sustainable improvements for their family and communities. From farmers using mobile phones to buy and sell crops to doctors remotely monitoring and treating influenza outbreaks in rural villages, technology is rapidly becoming more and more integral to the pace and progress of development. Now, that is something that people need to realize. Technology, like I said yesterday when I went live, technology is way beyond anything we can even imagine. We couldn't even comprehend everything that the technology can do. And that's one of the reasons why we've got Bill Gates stepping up to the plate, and then we see so much more about Elon Musk coming out, because they're really wanting us to transhumanize with the machines, with the AI. Like I said, I'm not going to read this all, but we're just going to keep going through. Like I said, these are letters. Now, I'll leave it up for a second, like I said, for people. They can pause it and read it, but I'll leave it up long enough for you to be able to pause it to read it if you want to, and going back through on my live if you want to. So it says, for decades, technology has been dramatically changing not just the lives of individuals in developed countries, but increasing the lives and livelihood of people throughout the developing world. Whether it is a community mobile phone, a solar panel, a new farming practice, or a cutting-edge medical device, technology is altering the landscape of possibility in places where possibilities used to be scarce. And yet, looking out to the future, there is no told about how technology will continue to help shape or even revolutionize life in developing countries. There are so many possibilities, some good and some less, some less so, some known and some unknownable. Indeed, for everything we think we can anticipate about how technology and international development will interact and intertwine in the next 20 years and beyond, there is so much more that we cannot yet even imagine. Now, this is true. Like I said, it's became way more than any of us have even thought about. So the Rockefeller Foundation believes that in order to understand the many ways in which technology will impact international development in the future, we must first broaden the deeper. Hello, Iraq. We must first broaden and deepen our individual and collective understanding of the range of possibilities. This report and the project upon which it is based is on one attempt to do that. In it, we share the outputs and insights from a year-long project undertaken by the Rockefeller Foundation and the Global Business Network, designed to explore the role of technology in international development through scenario planning, a methodology in which the GBN is a long-time leader. Now, all talking about scenarios, and a lot of us have seen the scenarios with the Sandy Hook. We've seen the scenarios with the 9/11. Whenever they are putting out there any type of or what they can see to see how people would react, they always use real life stuff. Like 9/11, like Sandy Hook. All of this stuff is real life. It says, why scenarios? Well, the goal of this project was not to affirm what is already known and knownable about what is happening right now at this intersection of technology and development. Rather, it was to explore the many ways in which technology and development could co-evolve, could both push and inhabit each other in the future, and exactly, Bill, that's exactly right. Then to begin to examine what those possible alternative paths may imply for the world's poor and vulnerable populations. Now, this goes back to what I was talking about in my last live, and I've talked about this a lot. They do not, the people that are homeless, the people that are poor, the people that are in poverty, the people that depend on the government for checks or food stamps, anything like that, or they depend on the government for an unemployment check. all of these people, this is who they are targeting. They want all these people, they do not think that these people are worthy. Whenever they look at poverty and they look at homelessness and they look at the lower class people, they are looking at you and basically spitting on you. They do not want nothing to do with you. They think that you should be gone and pretty much eliminated from the entire world because you are not worthy and you are not elite. They do believe that people that are in the middle class or above, they can pick and choose who they, decide can become part of this new world with them. But if you're homeless and you're poor, the only way they will even let anyone like that stick around is if they can prove that they would be willing to do anything for them, or they can blackmail them with something. So just remember that. It's even talking about here the world's poor and vulnerable populations. That is the most, and that's going into even the elderly, disabled vets. And disabled vets, the thing about that is they have served our country and now they're disabled. There's no more use to them. So what are they doing? They're trying to get rid of anybody that is vulnerable, weak, or as they would put it, got something wrong with us, and or like disabled, you're defected equipment, they don't need you no more. And I'm sorry to put it that way, but that is how they word it and that is how they see us. Scenario planning is a methodology designed to help guide groups and individuals through exactly this creative process. The process begins by identifying forces of change in the world and then combining those forces in different ways to create a set of diverse stories or scenarios about how the future could evolve. Scenarios are designed to stretch our thinking about both the opportunities and obstacles that the future might hold. They explore through narrative events dynamics that might alter, inhabit, or enhance current trends, often in surprising ways. Together, a set of scenarios captures a range of future possibilities, good and bad, expect and surprising, but also plausible. Importantly, scenarios are not predictions, rather, they are thoughtful hypotheses that allow us to imagine and then to rehearse different strategies for how to be more prepared for the future or more autonomous the future ourselves. Now, the thing about that is they want everyone to think that they're saying that they're not planning it, but then they go back over and say, yes, they are doing like a hypothesis and using different strategies to see how different people will act. Us, it is a surprise and it's not planned to us. So for us to be in the middle of something going on, like right now, the protest, before that, the fires, how people react to that. So basically, it's also allowing the technology and the AI to get a read off of basically all of humanity and their facial recognition. Like I said, the drones, I've done videos and showed you that drones can actually read your emotions and tell what makes you angry, what makes you sad. They can tell what, if you're running a temperature, it can tell the things that make you go off. So these are all things that the AI has learned how to do on its own. Now, if you listen to the technology video that I uploaded, they talk about how they don't know how technology is doing it, but they are learning from themselves. So there's also that. Technology was chosen as a focal point of this project because its potential transformative role both in a positive and negative way in addressing a wide range of development challenges from transformation. Yet while there is a driver of change world in the future, the precise trajectory along with technology innovation and their inventions be dispersed important to yet to that will help teach a broader and richer understanding of different paths along with strongly influenced by the technology, divorced from the context in which it develops. The scenarios shared in this report explore for such in the world. A note about to refer to tools and methods of organization. Technologies can range from tools and basic survival, such as treadle pump and basic filtration, to more advanced innovations such as methods of collecting and utilizing data in health. Sorry guys, it's a big word for it, isn't it? So basically they're telling you it's a bunch of different things when they use the word technology. It's not just one. But they're trying to make it look like they're wanting all the information gathered from the health and all of that. And novel building material with real-time environmental sensing capabilities. Yeah, the internet has been acting very bad. Let's see. I think it won't. What they, if I'm still buffering, just let me know. But what they are really wanting to do is make it where we don't have easy access to the internet. They want us to struggle for everything. But for them, they will always be able to do this stuff. For us, it will be hard. Some reason every time I try to do a video or go live, it buffers. So I apologize, guys. Please stay with me. Buffering. So just let me know if the buffering stops, or if it continues, then I'll end it. They're telling you to read. So if you start through this document and reading it, you would know what they're talking. I'm still buffering. I pray that I'm not. The Rockefeller Foundation and GBM began the scenario process by surfacing the spectrum of technology and intentional development interviews with foundation staff, foundation and so they basically have done all these scenarios. Figured out of it. 5% of the time. Right now, really good. Right now they want us just to do like they are acting like, with the coronavirus and everybody being locked in their homes, they thought we were going to overload it and break it then. But no, it's now, and a lot of places have reopened. A lot of places down here have not reopened. A lot of the restaurants are still closed. You can't go in, you can only do drive-through. And that's really bad for us because we like to go, well, we used to go into the lobbies to get out of the cold or the heat, vice versa, and we would usually charge a phone there and use the Wi-Fi, but now all their doors are locked. I don't know if they ever will fully reopen. This is the new life. Yeah, that could be it. I mean, I said a bunch of words I shouldn't have said. When I started saying the SH and the 11, that's whenever they probably started messing with it, honestly. Next, all these things. Okay, I apologize, guys. If it's gonna be like this, I'll quit and then I'll just do a video. But I really don't want to because I like interacting with y'all a lot more than just doing videos. And this right here is talking about the little uncertainty. The two chosen uncertainties introduced below together define a set of 4 scenarios for the future of technology and international development that are divergent, challenging, internationally consistent, and plausible. Each of 2 uncertainties is expressed as an axis that represents a continuum of possibilities ranging between 2 endpoints. And political and economic, we all knew that that's all part of it. It talks about strong and weak, okay? And then the adaptive capacity, that's like low and high. And what they're talking about is the main things that they are considering and going from. Now listen, guys, if you actually would sit here, a dictionary of substitute words. That's one of the things that they like to do is put in a lot of big words to make people not what we're talking about. Okay, thank you. They're trying words in here so people will feel like they can't understand it or that they're basically. Both the amount of economic integration of goods, as well as extent to which enduring and effective gonna product. It's a new vaccination bill. After it was passed, like an hour later, and I meant to do a video. I believe, but yeah, we're supposed to be growing in our own independent, and we're supposed to be able to, like they legalize the gay marriage because you have this freedom to do all of these things, and yet. Exactly, yeah, they are screening. And that's the thing that makes me so mad is how are you going to tell somebody that they can do whatever they want and you legalize all these other things so people have freedom, but yet you're going to make us all get vaccinations. I mean, if somebody has a religious belief against it because they don't want to alter the temple of God, because once you are saved or once you accept Jesus into your life and you start trying to live a life and walking with Christ, then your body is like a temple. It's like the temple of God. And you should not, a lot of people believe that they should not defile the temple with any type of drugs or vaccinations like they are doing. But yet, religious beliefs is not enough to not get them anymore. Look into that, guys. I'll put a video up about that here in a little bit, but it just passed a couple of days ago. Vaccination, the only way you will be able to not get one is if you have a medical or a pre-existing health condition that says that you cannot get them. Which, if you ask me, I think that would be something hard to do and hard to prove. It also talks about, which we know that they all kind of plan exactly what leaders are going to be the leaders. We know what groups are going to be there. We know what is going. They already plan all of this, and that's part of their scenario planning. Okay, so right here it says lockstep. One cross these axes create a matrix of 4 very different futures. Lockstep. A world of tighter, top-down government control and more. And this is exactly what they're doing with limited innovation and growing citizen pushback. So right now, that's kind of like what they're doing. They're trying to make a tighter, top-down, government-controlled. That's why the military, the Air Force, all of that is involved. And the citizens are out there protesting, and they are pushing back. Okay, and then the clever together, a world in which highly coordinated and successful strategies emerge for addressing both urgent and worldwide issues. So what they're saying is basically they want a world where only the best of the best survive and their strategies can come together and mean something to them. Again, like I said, getting rid of the poor, the homeless, what they see as defected. Heart attack, an anomaly unable and shock-prone world in which government is weakened, criminals thrive, and dangerous innovations emerge. Sorry guys, the chat goes away before I can read it. Exactly, like there should not be anything that tells us we cannot do that. Now, this one is talking about a shock-prone world in which government is weakened, criminals thrive, and dangerous innovations emerge. So they're talking about basically if our government gets weakened, then the only outcome of that is criminals will thrive and a whole bunch of bad things will happen, a bunch of people will die, a whole bunch of things could happen. But these are their scenarios, and they're calling it Matrix. So, and then smart scramble, an economy depressed world in which individuals and communities develop localized, makeshift solutions to a growing set of problems. So that is when people have to band together because they have basically like Hunger Games or Divergent, any of those movies. Basically people coming together to create their own things, to make a way for their own lives, to basically like create their own communities, to have their own food, to hunt, to create their own water sources. And it's saying they're using it with a economy that is so depressed. And that's another thing. They want the whole entire world to be in a depressed state. And if you think about it, a lot of people say they are depressed a lot of the times. There's so many things in this life that can depress us and can bring us down. But that's why we have the love of God and the love of Christ in our hearts. And see, they have them locked. Now, the lock step, that's something, it's showing security cameras and all of that. The heart attack is showing basically criminals. The clever together is showing everyone together, you know, having a say-so, doing everything together in the world. And then the smart scramble is basically putting together of the technology and the AI. So, the scenarios that follow are not meant to be exhaustive, rather, they are designed to be both plausible and proactive to engage your imagination while also raising new questions for you about what the future might look like and feel like. Each scenario tells a story of how the world, and in particular the developing world, might progress over the next 15 to 20 years, with an emphasis on those elements relating to those different technologies and the interactions of these technologies with the lives of the poor and vulnerable. I seen something about the Spanish flu. Oh, yeah. Yeah, the Spanish flu was from the vaccination, being vaccinated. A lot of these diseases that people get, like HIV, hepatitis, Ebola, the TB that went wild, all of that is stuff that they put out there for all of us to get. Okay, now down here at the very bottom of it, it says, we now invite you to immerse yourself in each future world and consider 4 different visions of an evolution of technology. And it's talking about by 2030. I don't think that a lot of us will be here for that year, but this is lockstep. This goes in, it tells you in 2012, the pandemic that the world had been anticipating for years finally hit, unlike 2009's. Now, let me just tell you right now, okay, right now, we just seen that 2000, it is predicting in 2012 the H1N1, this new influenza, was prepared nations were quickly overwhelmed when the virus streaked 8 million in just 7 months. Now, listen, this one that 2010, and they're telling you in the same document, in the same document, from enforcement of mandate for citizens, as well as is instant and near sealing off of all the borders, save millions of lives. This is exactly what they did. They stopped everyone from flying. They blamed it all. U.S. blamed it on China. China blamed it on U.S. And this is what they're talking about in here: China and U.S. South Asia, Central America, spread like wildfire. This right here is telling you they had it planned back in 2010. We know it goes back further than that, but back in 2010, they planned on releasing it in 2012, and they did. This right here is proof, guys. And there's so much more in these documents, but there's not much else I can do. And then it says, for example, air quality drastically improved after 2016 when the government outlawed high. Okay, that's whenever they're talking about the Green New Deal, which we know that it has been passed. There were other downsides as the rise of the nationalism created new hazards, specters at 2018 World Cup, for example. And then down here, they wore bulletproof vests. Innovations and the developing world access to approved technologies increased, but beyond the remained limit, the locus of technology innovation was largely in the developed world, leaving many developing countries on the receiving end of technology and other end of technologies that others considered best for them. It is possible to discipline and control some societies for some time, but not the whole world all the time. Now, this is what we've seen with people getting very anxious, but everyone did go and pretty much barricade themselves in their home. Distancing, not going anywhere unless they had an emergency. There's a lot in this document, guys. I really recommend all of you going and getting this PDF file. Orders, lockdown orders. Now it's talking about this. By 2025. Okay, let me see that one more time. The first vaccine was introduced by British physician Edward Jenner, who in 1796 used the cowpox virus vaccination to. Yeah. There's a lot about the smallpox, too, if y'all want to look that up. So by 2025, people seem to be growing weary of so much top-down control and letting leaders and authorities make choices for them. Now, they are saying in this scenario, with all of this going on, by 2025, people started to fight back and rise up. Well, people are already doing that, and it's just the year 2020. Whenever national interests clashed with individual interests, there was conflict. Now, there it says pushback became increasingly organized and coordinated, and disaffected youth and people who had seen their status and opportunities slip away, largely in developing countries. Civil unrest in 2026, protesters in Nigeria brought down the government with against them and fight back and push back against all the government and everything due to being told to go to your home and lock in. And that is what they're done. They made us all go to our house due to this killer virus that was wiping out so many, that they tell you to go to your home, and then they predict it took from the time like it 2020 like 2010. And like I said, they also wanted to jumpstart it and get it going in a lot faster of a direction than it was going, because they can't wait for the end. They can't wait for the New World Order. They've been planning this for so long that they want it to happen now. They're tired of waiting. And the pushback came a lot quicker than anybody ever thought it would. And they knew it was going to. After locking people in their homes, telling them what they can and can't do, people are going to push back. And they predicted it in 2010, and that's what they wanted. They want a civil unrest, so they brought in the military, the National Guard. They have everyone wearing bulletproof vests. They've got everyone scared, and they've got everybody eating out of the palm of their hand, just like they wanted. Quarantine restrictions, in-person contact, cellular networks overloaded. So that was 2013. 2015, trade hit by strict controls. Let's see, and then 2017, let's see, gap with robots. 2020, well, Africa's embrace. Okay, so this is China. That's 2018. It says by 2022, Vietnam to require a solar panel on every home. So by 2022 in Vietnam, they require everyone to. Let's see. Then people can't descend as groups by talking to each other if they have to stay at home. Exactly, and that's one of the reasons why they kept telling us whenever we were at the stay-at-home order that, oh, the internet is on overload. And I think for a long time they've been wanting to take the internet away from us. They see it as us having too much freedom, too much free range to look at things. But at the same time, they've got a lot of people and a lot of the population dependent on the technology, and on their phones, on their tablets. They've got a lot of people dependent on it. And a lot of people call it an addiction. They call it, they say they're addicted to the technology. So we have both scenarios playing out. People are addicted to this. They are being, they have to have technology. They have to have some sort of communication. They have to be able to see certain things and be able to do what they want on their social medias. But at the same time, they're using all of this against us. So, and then it says by 2023, the trade networks in Eastern and Southern Africa strengthen regional ties. African leaders fear repeat of Nigeria's 2026 government collapse. So, there's a lot on this little timeline here that no one is seeing. So, the first thing that we see on it, though, is the quarantine and the restrict in-person contact. And it says cellular networks overloaded. So, this is the lockstep. And this is what they are trying to do. They're wanting to do. It says that, philanthropy organizations will face hard choices in this world, given the strong role of governments. Civil society relationships will be strongly monitored by government, and some foundations might choose to align themselves more closely with national official develop assistance and government objectives. So right here, it's kind of telling you what they're planning on doing. And it talks about rights and freedoms will get blocked at many nations' borders. Developing smart, flexible, and wide-ranging relationships in the world will be key. Many governments will place severe restrictions on the program areas, and this is exactly what they have been doing. Technology and lockstep. Now, this is where we're going to see what our technology is going to be doing, okay? While there is no way of accurately predicting what the important technology advancements will be in the future, the scenario narratives point to areas where conditions may enable or accelerate the development of certain kinds of technologies. Thus, for each scenario, we offer a sense of context for technology innovation, taking into consideration the pace, the keys, the creator. Lockstep is largely driven by government and is focused on issues of national security and health and safety. Most technological improvements are created by and for developed countries, shaped by governments. See, all of this right here is exactly what's going on. It says what we might see by technology, and it's talking about scanners. Do we see that? Yes, we see that now. Scanners using advanced, scanners using advanced functioning sorry guys. Scanners using advanced functioning magnetic Renaissance imagining fMRI technology become the norm at airports. We already see that. And other public areas to detect abnormal behavior that might indicate. Now this is where they talk about, and I've talked about this also, cameras. The AI will be into the cameras, like will be reading your facial expressions, your facial recognition. They can tell what makes you mad, what makes you sad, what makes you angry, and just by a facial expression or whatever the AI senses from you, they can tell if you're about to do something you should not do, if you're up to no good, if you look like you're hiding something, if you look like you're about to rob somebody, if you look like you're about to break in somewhere, all of this stuff. And they said that, and this is how it was worded in the article that I put out, it said that it would ping the cops. So the AI will call the cops on you if you even look like you're up to something or your face is making a weird expression at the time that it zooms in on you. In the aftermath of the pandemic scares, smarter packaging for foods and beverages is applied first by big companies and producers in the business-to-business environment. and then adopted for individual products and consumers. We're seeing that all over. Okay, so basically this was wrote in 2010. I'm showing you the steps. We're going through it each page by page. And I didn't want to stop and read all of it by myself and then just show you the important things, because there's so much importance in every bit of this in each page. So written back in May 2010, we are already seeing all of the stuff that they're talking about on here already being implemented in our world. The scanners, the H1N1, the massive pandemic, the quarantining, the what's going on in the airports, the AI, all of this stuff, guys. All of this stuff is already there. Yes, Minority Report. And what's that other one, Logan, with Sylvester Stallone in it?
Judge Dredd.
Minority Report and Judge Dredd. Judge Dredd is another one as well, because, and everybody knows about Sovereign Green. So all of these things they put out because they want you to know what it could be like in the, in the like not far future, but. So new diagnostics are developed to detect communicable diseases. The applications of health screening also changes. Screening becomes for release from a hospital or prison. So you must have health screenings and all of this. They respond to the demand of less expensive, lower bandwidth driven national security concerns. Nations create their own independent regional defined IT networks, mimicking China's firewall. Governments have varying degrees of success in internet traffic, but those efforts nevertheless to framework World Wide Web, life and see. Now this is something that we've already went over, and it talks all about it. This right here tells you about a story. Okay, Malaysia gazed out on the Ganges rivers, I don't know, mesmerized by what she saw back in 2010 when she was 12 years old. Her parents had brought her to this river so that she could bathe in its holy waters. By standing at the edge, she had been afraid. It wasn't the depth of the river or its currents that had scared her, but the water itself. It was murky and brown and smelled pungent of trash and dead things. She had balked, but her mother had pushed her forward, shouting that this river flowed from the locust feet. Along with millions of Hindus. Her mother believed the water would cleanse a person's soul of its sins and even cure the sick. Herself in the river, accidentally swallowing water in the process and receiving a bad case. She had diarrhea and everything as a result. Remembering that experience is what made today so remarkable. It was now 2025. She was 27 years old and a manager of an Indian government's Ganges purification. So basically trying to purify the waters. Until recently, the Ganges was still one of the most polluted rivers in the world. And this is just telling you a story of someone, and it's telling you that the water had sewage and all this in it, but they believed it could still cleanse the soul. It says frequent disposal of human and animal corpse and sewage. Like I said, this was wrote back in 2010, so this is a prediction. This is just a little story. Now, how else could they get millions of Indian citizens to completely shift their cultural practices in relationship to a holy site, disregarding ritual burned bodies? And now it was illegal and punishable by years of jail time. Companies found to be dumping waste of any kind were immediately shut down by the government. There were also severe restrictions on where people could bathe and where they could wash clothing. Every 20 meters along the river was marked by a sign outlining the repercussions of the disrespecting India's most treasured natural resource. Of course not. Everyone liked it. Protests flared every so often, but no one could deny the games just were looking more beautiful and healthier than ever. So basically, they put laws on this. They made it where people couldn't even be there. So now this one is the clever together one. A world in which highly coordinated and successful strategies emerge for addressing both urgent. So this is basically where all the people are together. The ones that they deem that is good enough to be. So I'm just going to leave it there for everybody to. And then the stronger people, inspired by the success of this experiment and collective global action, large-scale coordinated incentives provide use such systems in turn required more tech-enabled data collection, processing, and feedback. Enormous, and react, nation states lost some of their power. People black, and that is one of the main things that is in their little career. So they took on level authority. Is collateral damage. The extent of the problem you can create by solving another problem is about jobs. This is really all about new that are cleanly and more greenly in Africa. Push low population density. Now this is after those who they believed were just most rich, most elite, the bloodlines, of course, and the people that they see that would work for them and basically be slaves, people that could figure out problems, was very smart to live with them and live their way of things. Now it talks about the growth in the development, in the developing world was achieved more cleanly and more greenly. So it's talking about the Green New Deal. It talks about, let's see, right down here. It says, new CO and earn solar valleys. Over the course of 2 decades, enormous strides were made to make cry Now, all of this is also another timeline. They have the Rockefeller Foundation. They are saying that we should be in the year 2025. Now, I know that I open reopen, though it is 5 to 10 years in the future. Why? Because in this document, it is estimating that all of this will happen by 2025, and the state that we are in right now, and the way people are pushing back, the way technology is, the way our government is, all of this was supposed to be done in 2025, but they pushed it further. They made it where it would happen a lot quicker, and it is. It is now the year 2025 by these documents. If you keep remembering that whenever you download this and you read through it, you'll understand why and how. Because it's all already happening, but they're telling us it'll happen in the year 2025. Now, you tell me how in 2010 they knew they could have all this accomplished. The cost of capturing data through nano Google for and distribution, transportation, developed internet. Look at that, 2010. So, like I said, the smart cities are already out there. This was wrote in the 2010, and it's telling you by 2010s, the smart cities internet access is seen as a basic right. Everybody already thinks that no matter what, you should always be able to have access to the internet. Malaria vaccine is developed and deployed broadly, saving millions of lives in developing worlds. Advances in low-cost, mind-controlled prosthetics aid the 80% of global amputees who live in the developing countries. They're saying that you can think if you have your leg removed and you get a fake prosthetic leg, that your mind will tell it what to do and it'll just do it. Mind controlling your prosthetics, but we know what they talk about when they mean mind controlling. Solar power is made vastly more efficient through advances in materials, including polymers and nanoparticles, and we already know that we all have already inhaled nanoparticles. If you don't know that, then you need to look up a lot of the stuff that we breathe in our air regularly. And so, an effective combination of the government subsides and microfinance means solar is used for everything from desolation of agriculture to Wi-Fi networks. Like I said, transhumanism, they try to make us breathe in the nanoparticles so we can connect to the internet, but they're realizing that the nanoparticles aren't enough, and that's why they're going to the RFID chip. That's why they're going to the implants for the Neuralink. All of these things are all coming together. Flexible and rapid mobile payment systems drive dynamic economic growth in the developing world, while the developed world is hampered by enhanced banking interest and regulations. Everyone is starting to pay with everything online, buy everything online. That is something that a lot of people don't realize whenever they're doing it. You're becoming this vast minority of people that everyone buys and purchases from the internet, or you will buy and purchase on the internet and go to the store and pick it up and have it bagged for you. They're doing this everywhere, and not only are they doing that, but they're doing the DoorDash and what is it called, the Grubhub or whatever, and you order whatever you want and someone delivers it to you, but you're paying online. not physical. Now, I do not know if I'm still alive. It looks like I'm not. Here, let me. Okay. Some reason it was acting like I was not online. I'm not going to go through every bit of this because, like I said, it is a lot. And I've already been on here for over an hour. Guys, but I have to. Was pushed back and I know we're not through. I will go through myself and thing that's going. The rise of synthetic chemicals become scarce. So they're telling you the growth weapon logical between the virus. Only certain people with certain pathogens were infected. Other people with certain pathogens did not show symptoms. So this is a lot of the stuff that we're already shown. New threats like weaponized biological pathogens and destructive bionet. Public attention, but enduring technologies like the AK-47 also remain weapons of choice. The internet is overrun with spam and security threats and becomes strongly associated with stuff, especially on dark web, where no government can monitor, identify, or restrict activities. A lot of people do go to the dark web and use VPNs because you can't be tracked. They can't find out where you're at. They can't see what you're looking at, and they don't know. Like right now, while I'm on the internet, they could, they can track me, they can track you, they can track all of us to our own phone, computer, whatever we're watching this. With the cost of cosmetic surgery dropping, procedures like launch time, facelift become routine among the emerging middle class. Like I said, I'm not going to read this all. We've made it to page 41. We've made it a little farther than that. The global recession that started in 2008 did not trail off in 2010, but dragged onward. Vigorous attempt market did not work, or at least enough to reverse the steady downward pull. The combined private and public debt burden hanging over the developed world continued to developing countries with economies dependent on exporting to rich markets without the ability to boost the economy activity. Many countries saw their debt deepen and civil unrest and crime race climb. The United States, too, lost much of its presence and credibility on the international stage due to deepening debt. Now, this is something that they have been doing. They're putting out the stimulus checks, and a lot of people are going to have to pay some of that back. They're putting out all these loans. They're putting out extra money on your unemployment, and they're making people get further and further into their debt. Also in trouble was China, where social stability grew more precious, depressed economy activity combined. It talks about China's rapid growth started taking the toll, causing the shaky balance to that held that had held since 1989 to finally break down. With their focus trained on managing the serious political and economical instability at home, the Chinese sharply curtailed their investments in Africa and other parts of the developing world. Indeed, nearly all foreign investments in Africa, as well as formal institutional flows of aid and other support for the poorest countries, was cut back except in the gravest emergencies overall. Now, like I said, a lot of this stuff has already happened. We know that. This right here is talking about even someone has blueprints to make something they may not have the materials. So, guys, I'm going to go and stop right here. I'm going to, like I said, and pause this. And what's that way you can read everything or going over with you. But all of this stuff has already happened, and if you want to, if you download this, if you want to read it all, that's great. Understanding, this is another little story like they did before. See, we're going through, and then towards the end, what they're building up to, and that is exactly what it is. This is hope that reading the scenario narrative, thinking going all these things, the narrative scan activities also offer useful that can help in tracking and my it's telling you that they hope that they have put this into your head and that you'll understand the need for all of these things. The following is a job. They'll select from review to three categories or technology. How do I say that word, Logan? I done said it like a lot. Not technology, but technological.
Technological.
Yeah, technological. Sorry, guys. I said it so many times before, and now it's just my mind is like, ugh. So it falls into that social and environmental and economical and political. Each uncertainty is presented along with two polar endpoints, both representing a very different direction in which the uncertainty might develop. Like I said, this is something that was given to a lot of participating people that wanted to do this kind of stuff. Here are some of them. Like I said, I will go slow enough so most of you can pause this and read it. Right here, it talks about the new innovation that sustainably reduce child and infant mortality, vaccines, treatment, and it says cures. So there's one. Let's see. Restricted, and then it says educational and employment opportunities for women expanding, poor and worsening quality of the local environment in developing world, air, water, sanitation, built environment, global climate change awareness and action, the community identity in the developing world, educational and employment opportunities for women, occurrence of shocks like disease, famine, and natural disasters. So there you go, frequent and highly disruptive. So we are still being rated as highly disruptive and very shocked. So here is a list of the participants. Rockefeller Foundation staff, project leads, and then here's a whole bunch of names. to do with putting pieces of this together. And what everyone thinks. Now, a lot of people have this number and have not gotten through. You can try. Go to the RockefellerFoundation.org if you want to. Talks about all these people and they're part of the scenario theories, the planning, and the scenarios being such as, like I mentioned before, Sandy Hook, 911, all the other things. Right now, we have a lot of them. They are putting a lot of people out there in the protest. They've had a lot of people do the shootings. They've programmed people that don't know that they're programmed in their minds to get up and just start shooting people. The school shootings, some of them are fake. Some of them are done by programmed people who did not have no clue they were going to do it. But all it takes is for them to call you on the phone and then play a frequency or say a key word, and it will bring that person into that personality or into that persona that they deemed to do this dirty deed, and that's what they do. Now, guys, it's extremely hot out today. It's been a couple days since me and Logan have ate. My stomach's killing me. I'm hot. I'm dehydrated. I'm going to try to see if I can't figure out a way to at least get to a water fountain, if I can find one or something. So God bless you all. Please, I encourage everyone to look this up, download this, and start reading it and spread the word about everything that's going on. It was all wrote about in 2010. I'm not saying none of this is not real. I'm just saying it's all been planned and it's all been put out there and it's all been orchestrated to this outcome that we are now at. Now, the next stage, if you read through this, is basically the police state. They're going to lock down everything with the military, the Navy, the National Guard. All the people that they deem fit and all of this will be moved into the smart cities. A lot of people already have. We've seen Trump went underground. He's back up now, but I think they probably are taking him down there at curfew or something. Who knows? But everything that's going on is strictly to their plan. So just remember, don't fall in with their plan. Don't let them see everyone shocked and in a gaze, not knowing what to do. Reach out for the Heavenly Father and confess with your mouth and ask for forgiveness. Repent and just know that He is the one that is in control. These people have laid out this foundation for all of these things to happen. They have orchestrated all these events, but they are not the ones that's in complete control. Only He is, our Heavenly Father, and we need to realize that. So God bless you all, and I will try to do a couple of videos and get them uploaded before I delete the channel. So God bless you all.